Have any of you ever been to an after-school program growing up? Have any of you ever been to a summer camp? Well, raising kids with disabilities, this is an opportunity that's few and far between. It's either expensive or very just not accessible based on your location. So raising a child with disabilities can be a task that you just look for opportunities to kind of help ease the pain. And so this year I volunteered with Extra Special People. I volunteered at their after school program 360, Bulldogs and Buddies, Big Hearts, and all of the No Kids Allowed in club events. And through this experience, I've really become interested in families that raise children with disabilities and the effects that the community can have on them. So today I will discuss the cost and emotional support it takes when raising a child with disabilities, as well as the opportunity you have as a college student to make a difference in the communities in the Athens and Oconee area, and as well as some counter arguments that people may say. So Mark Lyon, in 2017, there was an article by the U.S. Department of Agriculture that it costs $245,000 to raise a child that doesn't have a disability from the age of newborn to 18. But to raise a child with a disability, it can cost up to $2.5 million. That includes extra day-to-day costs of equipment, dietary restrictions, therapies, and everything in between. The Center for Disease Control, the CDC, released in November of 2017 that there's a birth defect in 1 in every 33 babies. That's 120,000 babies every year affected by a birth defect. And a birth defect is anything that is noticeably different when a baby is born and can be on a large scale of something minor that could be fixed or something that could be a lifelong thing. And so Medscape had an article called The Impact of a Child Disability on the Family that stated that not much research has been done on the ripple effect that having a child with disability has on the family, but what has been conducted shows that parents are more likely to become divorced or live apart from just natural added stress. Moms are more likely to work and stay at home, and dads are more likely to take less hours. So throughout all of this, besides the extra added cost, they're taking less hours to bring in a smaller income. Every 4.5 minutes, a child is born with a disability. Every 4.5 minutes, a family has to go back to their budget and say, what can we buy and what can't we buy this year? So if gone without attention, children with disabilities will continue to be categorized and denied based on their family's income and their ability or disability in people's eyes. ESP was founded by Martha Wiley in 1986. She had a passion for kids with special needs and wanted to create an affordable way for them to go to camp over the summer. After Martha's death, ESP was going to have to close its doors and deny kids the opportunity to go to camp until a camp counselor, Laura Whitaker, stepped up and raised $50,000 from the community in just a few short weeks. That summer, camp was able to stay open, and now Laura has been the executive director of ESP for the last 12 years. They've increased the donations and have now opened a 14,000 square foot building in Watkinsville that is fully accessible to all kids of all abilities and allows to host things like Camp 360 and the holiday programs. And they never make a kid pay more than 25% of the cost of programs, which is amazing considering how much it costs for them to keep their doors open every day and every summer. So they rely heavily on corporate sponsors and donations from the big three events. They have Big Trail and Tug, which is held at Camp Hooray, which is a property that they've bought out in Watkinsville that's going to be the first camp in the country that will be fully accessible to kids of all abilities. No camp exists like this, and they're working hard to continue those funds. They have Big Hearts, which is a pageant and a talent show for kids that are at the ESP programs and allow them to show off their abilities. They get escorted by the football players, and there's a banquet afterwards, and it's just a great time. And then lastly, they have Big Jump, which is May 12th. It allows kids like us and people in the community to raise money to sponsor a kid to jump out of a plane. So it costs $600, and each year the event gets bigger and bigger. One of my best friends, his sister goes to ESP, and she's jumped out of the plane 7 times now. And if she can do it 7 times, I think some of us could do it once. This year, Josh Murray has taken on the challenge. So if anyone would like to donate to him, we'd greatly appreciate to see him jump out of the plane. And so if you're wondering like where this money goes, Carter Strickland is the board chair for ESP, and he said that many have said ESP has made tremendous strides because we believe we could. And that is believing in the mission and those around us, and that we had a dream. Belief matched with business and leadership brought ESP to this point, and ESP has proven well-managed growth and knows the value of a dollar. In 2017, the report $928,000 was expenses to keep the doors open throughout the year, but only 5% went to administrative costs to pay the staff. So if you're wondering where your money goes to as well, CAMP services kids from 27 counties across the state of Georgia, and 200 volunteers pour into the ESP building every week to help with things like 360, where kids can cook, play sports, have music, theater, and just show off who they are, and with no one watching. But some counter arguments that people may have is that it is a student-run organization, and college kids can be wishy-washy and not be committed to things. But to that, I would say that if you experience what I've experienced with these kids, you want to be there. You don't want to have to call Tommy, the volunteer coordinator, and say, I'm sorry, but I can't come see Megan today. Megan is the highlight of my week. And so to y'all, anyone that's like, oh, I don't think that I could commit to it, the commitment is the easy part. The friendships is the best part. And so college kids, you can be committed, you can find the money, and you can donate. So to conclude, kids should not be denied because of their ability or disability from things as after-school programs and summer camp that we enjoyed so much growing up. So it's just a few dollars that you can donate to extra special people that will truly help in making their summers the best ever. Thank you.